wonderful people. You're welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm glad to have you back on this channel, Literature in English with Temitope. I want to thank all our subscribers for their love. I thank you, I appreciate you, I so much cherish you. Thank you for coming back to this channel. And I also want to plead with new viewers, kindly click the subscribe button so you can get notification whenever a new video drops. I want to also encourage you to like and comment. Don't forget to share so that every other person can benefit from this video. Okay, so today we want to continue with the African poem Once Upon a Time by Gabriel Okara. So this video is a part 2 of the poem Once Upon a Time by Gabriel Okara. Stay with me as we proceed. I hope you enjoy this video. Okay, today we'll be looking at other aspects of this poem Once Upon a Time by Gabriel Okara. The last time we read this poem, we did the analysis stanza by stanza, which made us have a better understanding of what this poem is all about. So today we'll be looking at the theme, the language use, and structure. We're starting with the structure. Of course, looking at the poem Once Upon a Time, we know it's a narrative poem. The expression once upon a time used at the beginning of the poem depicts that the poem is a narrative poem. This poem tells the story of a persona speaking to the son about the differences between the past and the present, the childhood and adulthood, which childhood symbolizes innocence and adulthood symbolizes experience. This poem is a poem of 43 lines, which consists of 7 stanzas. Of course, these stanzas are of unequal length. The first 3 stanzas, 6 lines each, contrast the past and the present, stating the differences between the past and the present, between childhood and adulthood. The 4th and 5th stanzas, 6 and 8 lines each, focus on the persona's efforts to adapt. All his effort to adapt, how he's trying so hard to, adapt to the new way of life. The final 2 stanzas, 7 and 4 lines each, express nostalgia for childhood and the persona's desire to unlearn the new way of life and relearn the old one. There, the poetic persona requests something of his son. He asks his son to teach him to live the childhood age again, how to learn to live in the childhood age again. So this poem is a 3-verse poem, and of course it is a narrative poem. Okay, now let's look at the language and style. This poem is considered a dramatic monologue, though it uses a dialogic presentation as it addresses a particular person who happens to be the speaker's son. It is a monologue in the sense that no one is responding. Even the son that is assumed to be spoken to never gave any response. And of course, the poetic persona kept using the word son in a few lines of the poem. The persona used the word son in a few lines of the poem, suggesting that he is addressing his son. Let's look at those lines. Once upon a time, son. They used to shake hands with their hearts, but that is gone, son. That's another line. And look further. It says here, so I have learned many things, son. Goes further to say, believe me, son. also, so show me, son. Now in these lines of poem that the poetic persona has repeated the word son, son, son. It shows that the speaker is actually talking to the son, telling the son about the differences between childhood and adulthood and how he has tried so hard to adjust to adulthood, and also how he has tried so hard to do whatever they are doing at that period and not conform with the life he had already learned in the past. Also, he also talks on his desire to unlearn the new way and relearn the old way. Good. Now let's look at the use of simile in the poem. I have learned to wear my faces like dresses. This is an example of a simile, and this highlights the speaker's ability to change his persona to fit in. The comparison to dresses emphasizes the ease and frequency of changing facial expression. The speaker goes further to even list the various faces, such as home face, office face, street face, host face, cocktail face. All this refer to the chameleon nature of adults in order to adapt to different situations. It goes further to talk about how they conform. Another line of simile stating, conforming smiles like a fixed portrait. This underscores the artificial nature of these expressions. The comparison suggests a permanent shift into hypocritical life, which depicts the hypocrisy of social relations among adults. Another line of simile is, when I was like you. This expresses the speaker's longing to return to childhood, that is, to return to innocence. They are talking more about what used to happen when he was like the child and what is actually happening at the period of his adulthood. When I was like you. This really suggests that the speaker longs to return to childhood, longs to return to the age of innocence when he feels everything was perfect. Wow, metaphor. In this poem, we have a few lines of metaphor. First one, laugh with their hearts. Laugh with their hearts here depicts a genuine and heartfelt laughter where facial expressions reflect true emotions. Another line of metaphor is laughter with the teeth only. This also depicts superficial and insincere laughter, a kind of laughter that lacks true emotional connection. Also, another line of metaphor here is eyes block cold eyes, which expresses extremely cold, unwelcoming, and hostile look, and this symbolizes emotional detachment. The use of contrast in this poem is something that can never be overlooked. The use of contrast highlights the differences between past and present. The way they used to shake hands or smile in the past that is no longer in practice. It also contrasts innocence and experience, in which innocence represents childhood and experience represents adulthood. And of course, genuine versus superficial actions and attitudes. This contrast is evident in characterization, actions, disposition, and is further emphasized through linguistic choice, ultimately bringing clarity to the poem's theme and ideas. Contrasting the characterization, the way people behave in those days, their actions, and of course, this choice of words ultimately helps us to enjoy this poem more than expected. Themes. The poem explores the theme of innocence and experience, contrasting the warmth and sincerity of childhood with the hypocrisy and superficial of adulthood. The speaker, having lost innocence, longs for the genuine relationships of his childhood. Now embodied by his son, he yearns to relive the authenticity and warmth of youth, highlighting the harsh realities of adulthood where duplicity and insincerity prevails. This poem also explores the theme of hypocrisy. The poem portrays adult life as characterized by hypocrisy, deceit, and superficiality. Adults are depicted as wearing masks, using fake smiles and gestures to hide their true intentions. They prioritize self-interest over genuine relationships, leading to damaged connections. The persona, though participating in this hypocrisy, expresses a deep desire to shed his artificial behavior and rediscover authentic social interaction. There he stated that, "I want to unlearn the new way and relearn the old way. Teach me, son, how to be like you." We can't end this poem without talking about the theme of nostalgia, which happens to be one of the important themes in this poem. Nostalgia means the feeling of pleasure and slight sadness that one experiences when one thinks about things that happened in the past. The poem's final stanza are infused in nostalgia, as the speaker yearns for the innocence and genuineness of childhood, because he remembers all that used to happen when he was a child. And this brings this feeling of nostalgia, which made the poem quite interesting. Despite being entrenched in adult hypocrisy, he longs to relive the happiness and sincerity of his youth, now embodied by his son. His son is now at that stage, that childhood stage, while he, at this adulthood stage, doesn't really like all that surrounds adulthood. He desires to shed the superficiality of adulthood and rediscover the joy of heartfelt laughter, free from duplicity and artificiality. He asks his son to teach him how to laugh authentically. The speaker underscores the value of childhood's innocence and the damage caused by hypocritical relationships in adulthood. Wow, that was an interesting one. I hope you enjoyed this video like I did. Thank you for staying with me all through. Well, for students who are preparing to write WAEC, JAM, NECO, GCE, you are here at the right channel. I hope this video goes a long way in helping you pass your examination. Don't forget to click the like button, comment, and share. More so, your subscription matters to me a lot. Please do subscribe so that you can get notified whenever a new video drops. Thank you and God bless you. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye for now.